Homestead Supervisor Judy Bosworth. While we're all doing our part to stay home and prevent the spread of coronavirus, we wanted to bring to you a virtual tour of Clark Botanic Garden in Albertson. Our dedicated staff works tirelessly year-round to make it such a beautiful place to experience. We hope that this virtual tour can show even a small portion of its beauty. We hope you enjoy the special look at Clark Botanic Garden and that you have the opportunity to actually come and visit soon. Enjoy.
Good morning, everybody. I am Glenn Aldridge. I am the Education Director here at Clark Botanic Garden. And we're here to show you a few important and beautiful things at Clark Garden. Before we start, I would like to remind you that when you come here to Albertson, this little jewel of a park, when you park the car, it's free, no one's charging you. When you walk in the gate, it's free, no one's charging you. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. I highly encourage you to come often. Anyway, as you can see in the background, today is May 2nd, perfect tulip season here. And we've got beautiful tulips. And we're gonna take a walk down Tulip Avenue here to the Clark House. And we'll go in there and examine the Clark House a little bit. Okay, let's go. We're here at the Clark House, and it's called the Clark House, and it's called Clark Botanic Garden because the Clark family actually lived here back in the day. They were here in the 1920s, and were here for decades. The Clarks, which is Grenville and Fanny Dwight Clark. By the way, the garden is named after her. It's the Fanny Dwight Clark Memorial Garden. They had kids, and they brought their kids up here. Back in the 60s, Grenville died, and they decided to donate the house and the grounds to the public. And who's the public? All of us. So we get to enjoy this beautiful piece of property that belonged to the Clark family. And a lot of the horticultural design was done by Fanny Dwight Clark. A lot of the plants and trees on the property were planted by her and her staff. So this is a real house that real people lived in back in the day, and now it is open to you to come and visit. I encourage you when you come to Clark Garden to come into the house. It's wonderful. We're going to go take a peek inside right now. So the library is filled with books about horticulture. Many of them are very old, and I love that because I am an organic gardener, an organic orchardist, and these books, many of them were written before the advent of the chemical age, which really came after World War II. Late 40s, 50s, we started to use all the chemicals on the farms and in our yards. Before that, the chemicals really didn't exist. These books were written for gardeners and horticulturalists back before the chemical age. So I love to look at these books, and I think they're very, very relevant now that we are moving back to getting away from chemicals. So I encourage you, when you're here, come into the library and browse around. There is a lending system. You have to fill out a card and you can borrow a book, and it's kind of an honor system. You have to bring the book back, but it's here for you. Also, and lastly, let's just talk about all the Clark family history that is in here. I love this. This is a portrait of Grenville and Fanny Dwight. And then when you come, you can walk around and there are information posters about the family. There are pictures of the family. And then if we keep going around, we can look out into the beautiful garden itself. And I just love this. I mean, imagine sitting here and enjoying your beautiful garden in this gorgeous, gorgeous library. We're here at the famous oak tree, my favorite tree. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous old tree. We think it's about 200 years old. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly, and the only way to find out exactly would be to cut it down and count the rings. So obviously, we're not going to do that because it's still a really healthy, beautiful, beautiful tree. What I like about it is it provides us with shade. The tree has so many branches and produces so many acorns that it can supply food for lots of wildlife. I also want to think about what the wildlife does for the tree. And this to me is really, really fun, is that when squirrels collect acorns, do they eat the acorns right away? And the answer is no. They store them for the winter time. They bury them all over the place. And then the question is, do they remember where they buried every acorn? And the answer to that is no, they don't. So now spring comes, a beautiful spring day like today, and all of a sudden we will start to see very soon oak trees sprouting up in the different beds and the different lawn areas of the garden. So the squirrel, by collecting food, has replanted oak trees all over Clark Garden. And it probably happens in your neighborhood as well. And to me, this is the real lesson of Mother Nature, is that everything is interrelated. Things provide food for animals, and then the animals do a job for the plant. And there's so many examples of this in nature. As you watch, you'll see it's all interrelated. We're here at our next stop, which is the bee yard, also known as an apiary, A-P-I-A-R-Y, apiary. And I'm trying to talk a little softer than normal because I don't want to disturb the bees. And I think that's really, really something for all of us to remember, is that bees don't want to hurt you. They don't want to sting you, but they will if they feel threatened. If they think that you're going to harm the queen, by the way, only one queen in each hive, if they think you're going to harm the queen, they're going to sting you. If they think that you're going to steal their food, being the honey, remember that cartoon character, I shouldn't say cartoon, storybook character, Winnie the Pooh, who reaches in to steal the honey, and what do the bees do? They sting him like mad. So if they think you're going to steal their food, they're going to sting you. But if you're calm and you're stable and you don't move too quickly, it's highly, highly unlikely that a bee will just come and sting you out of nowhere. One of the reasons for that is if they sting you, they die. They put the stinger in you, they fly away, the stinger gets pulled out, and the bee dies. So that's another reason that the bees do not want to sting you. Richard and Helen, beekeepers, they put up a couple little signs there. No bees, no food. And what they mean by that is the bees do the pollinating of the flowers on fruit trees and berry bushes and vegetables. And without the pollination, the fruit won't grow. So bees are really, 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 really important to our life and ecology and Mother Nature. And I would like you guys to help support the bees by having flowers in your yard. And most important, stop using any chemicals. Chemicals are what kills bees. So try to go organic in your gardening and organic in your lawn care. and you will help to support Mother Nature. We're here at the pond, one of my favorite spots here at Clark Garden. It's so beautiful. I can't recommend it more to come, sit on a bench, meditate, watch what's going on, watch the wildlife. There's always some birds, and one of my personal favorites, always turtles. Particularly on a sunny day. They love to come out in the sun. So if you're looking for turtles, you're going to want to look at those little islands. If there's a log floating in there, they'll be on the log. You can walk around the pond, and there are benches all around. And I would recommend stopping at almost every bench and sitting down, resting, meditating, and just enjoying Mother Nature at her best here. Also, if you look carefully and get lucky, you'll see some really big koi in there. People had koi in their ponds, and some people still do. And I suspect that somebody brought their koi over here and put them in the pond. And now they're big. They're a good foot-long koi. And I love to see them. And I actually think they're pretty good for the environment. They're algae eaters, which is always a good thing. And I don't think they're being harmful to anything. The other thing to look for in here is tadpoles. And tadpoles are really, really cool. There's a lot of frogs that live around here. And the tadpoles, you'll see them in the shallow water right by the edge. You'll always see tadpoles here. And I think that's really, really fun. So again, really good wildlife. Birds, turtles, tadpoles, frogs, koi, and most important is peace of mind. And just sitting down and resting and enjoying Mother Nature here at Clark Garden. Okay, this might be our last stop for today. When you come to visit Clark Garden, it won't be your last stop. There's so much to see here. But I'm standing in front of a royal azalea, which is just about to lose its blooms, but it's still looking really, really beautiful. Azaleas are in the rhododendron family, and there's lots of azaleas and rhododendrons in the garden for you to see. And it's just a reminder of all the beautiful plants that are so well taken care of by the staff here. And I appreciate it every day I'm here. And I'm here almost every day in the spring from March, April, May, and June. Think about how lucky I am, right? I get to come almost every day and enjoy the garden and see the changes. And that would be the other thing, and maybe my final thought to you is to come here in all of the seasons, because the garden changes, the garden is alive, and every season has its own beauty here, including the winter time. So I hope to see you here. I'm here in the spring a lot. If you find me, please come up and say hello. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you. Bye, everybody.